Hello, I'm Kathleen Marshall. I'd like to read you one of my stories from my book, Tales from Windy Wood. This story is called The Owl Who Lost His Hoot. Old McTavish, the owl, was a miserable bird who would not talk or pass the time of day with the other animals who lived in Windy Wood. All the other animals were very friendly to one another and enjoyed each other's company. There was the rabbit family who lived in the dell, the squirrels from Oak Tree Hollow, Mr. and Mrs. Mouse and their dear little children, Oscar the badger, Magnus Fox and Edith Mole. There were lots of birds too, but old McTavish did not even like talking to them. The trouble was that McTavish was very clever and was always reading books. The other animals would laugh at him sometimes, but mostly they just ignored him. He was seldom around during the day, being busy reading and writing and working out sums and things like that. The other animals much preferred to play. One day, when the sun was shining, making the leaves sparkle and the sun rays dance on the little stream by the side of the great oak where McTavish lived, there could be heard a loud groaning and weeping. Mrs. Rabbit happened to be passing on her way to see Edith Mole, who had not been feeling well. Poor Edith had a very bad cold, and Mrs. Rabbit was taking her some homemade jam and bread to cheer her up. When she heard the strange sounds coming from McTavish's home, Mrs. Rabbit put down her basket and listened carefully. Sure enough, it was the old owl. Being a friendly sort, she picked up her basket and ran all the way to Edith's house. She told Edith what she had heard, and Edith, blowing her nose noisily, said, "Well, I really don't know what to say. He is such a snappy old bird that he might bite our heads off if we interfere." Mrs. Rabbit could not agree. She said that they must get help, that perhaps McTavish was ill. After all, he lived in Windy Wood just like they did. It was their duty to help if they could. They left Edith's house and went in search of help. First they met the squirrels. Mrs. Rabbit told them about McTavish. The squirrels looked at each other and giggled. "What can we do?" they asked. Mrs. Rabbit thought for a moment. "You could climb up the tree and knock at his door." The squirrels screeched in horror. "Oh no, we would be frightened in case old McTavish came out and was angry with us for disturbing him. He's always so busy." Mrs. Rabbit thought again. You could knock at the door and then run quickly back down the tree before he opened it. We could find him someone brave and strong to talk to him. Anyway, he won't be busy because he's groaning and moaning too much." The squirrels agreed to do this and joined Mrs. Rabbit and Edith Mole to find someone brave and strong. The next person they met was Oscar the badger. He was on his way to meet Magnus Fox. They were going for a walk. Mrs. Rabbit told Oscar her story. He seemed concerned but scared. He rubbed his chin and said, "It wouldn't be any good me talking to the old bird. I can never understand what he says. He talks so fast. Anyway, I'm not brave or strong. I know who is, though. I bet my friend Magnus Fox would be just the one to help you. I'm on my way to meet him now. You can come with me." The friends moved on their way to find the fox who might help McTavish. It was not long before they came upon Magnus. He looked startled to see so many of them. "Why, Oscar, I thought we were going for a walk today," he said, looking at them all. "I see you have brought friends." The squirrels giggled, and the smaller of the two answered, "Oh no, Mr. Fox, we have come for you to help. Mrs. Rabbit can tell you what it's all about." With that, Mrs. Rabbit again told her tale and added that they hoped he would help by talking to McTavish if the squirrels ran up the tree to knock at his door. Mr. Fox looked pleased. He smiled and smoothed back his hair. Of course you are right. I am the bravest and strongest of you all. I will talk to McTavish. Lead the way. The little group once more set off towards the little stream and McTavish's tree home. Now, I wonder what's going to happen. You'll have to read the story to find out, won't you? Bye.